This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to the program. Joining me now, John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, ready for snowpocalypse 2024. You look pretty cozy and warm. Are you ready to roll?
Yes. I have I purchased the last three outside faucet covers available in Little Rock yesterday, and kept the water dripping, and all is well. Knock wood. How are you? How are you dealing with the deep freeze?
I'm good. I'm ready for it. I hate cold weather. I mean, I'll just straight up admit it. I'm a warm weather guy, so
Yeah,
I'm ready for spring already.
yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind cooler weather. This is this is too much, but it'll be over. Maybe
Over
next week.
soon.
Yeah. All right.
What will not be over soon is a controversy involving the state corrections board and our governor, Sarah Sanders. Let's talk about the latest developments on that. It looks like everything's heading for the Supreme Court. What's your take on how this thing eventually gets resolved?
Well, I saw you had the governor on Capitol View, uh, and she said, an interesting way to put it, I'm confident we will prevail in the courts eventually. That's something that she and I have rare agreement on, because I've written that our Supreme Court is loaded toward the Republican side. I think she's got four reliable votes there. And I even talked to a corrections official who said, we're fighting a good fight, but what you're predicting as the outcome, I do too. I think but we've got to stand up for Amendment 33 and the authority it gives us. But this is in the end going to be a political decision, even if decided in the legal arena. That may not be the end of it. She may move to remove or reconstitute the correction board after the Supreme Court gets through with this. If it gets through with it in a way I think that they might. I saw that she said the problem is that the correction board has just been giving her trouble from the get-go, because she couldn't do everything. She couldn't do what she wanted to do because they were giving her trouble. Well, they've got Amendment 33, which gives them what has long been considered, without much dispute, some measure of independent authority. That's what they were doing. And for that matter, I saw when she put in those two bills to take statutory authority, a correction board member testified against it, but in the mildest way, simply saying, oh, by the way, we trust this won't affect Amendment 33. I don't think this is a good idea, but they didn't put up a fight. So I don't know what she's talking about. You asked her a good question. Why did you not work this out, with meetings and governing techniques rather than having this confrontational politics? You know my position, confrontational politics that allows her to demonize others and make herself the great hero. It's her style, and that's what we've got. She has created a political issue that looks kind of like a constitutional crisis that she thinks in the end she's going to win. She sees a spiking the ball touchdown moment in her future, I think.
Let's talk about what has been going on with ballot issues this last week. Attorney General Tim Griffin, I think by my count, has rejected at least 9 different measures last week.
He's
8 of
rejected
which,
everything, hasn't he, so far?
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, is this? We've changed this process. We've changed this process back for how these ballot titles get originated. I mean, is it time for someone to come up with a different solution, or do you think it should rest with the Attorney General to decide these ballot titles and whether or not they can move forward?
He's not just deciding ballot titles. It was a good idea to have the Attorney General's office, whoever is in charge there, review these and sign off on the ballot titles, which is what's going to be seen on the voting device, and the popular name, because we've had deception and misleading marketing techniques in those over the years. So that's fine. What he is doing is going through them like the toughest editor anybody has ever had, and treating it almost like contract law, which is different from constitutional law. Contract law has to be specific. You have to deal with all contingencies. Constitutional law can be, and on the federal level, is broad statement of concepts, and we leave the solution to the courts and to the interpretation. He is forcing these people to rewrite sentences. Basically, he says, "I can't tell you what to do in the text, but this phrase here is not defined. This phrase doesn't fit with what your ballot title is, and therefore I disapprove." In other words, go back and with a fine tooth comb and go in here and change the guts of it. And I believe that's beyond what was intended. And I believe the important, I think it's fine to look over and make sure that everything is of a proper legal form. And if you need a citation here or there, he's now into his ordering people into their third round. And he started scolding the FOI people. "I can't write your amendment for you, but I told you this," and which was kind of talking down to him. I think it exceeds his role a little bit, but I don't want to give it up altogether. I want a fair-minded attorney general to judge the ballot title and the popular name, and then in the text, if he sees errors or lack of clarity, to say so. I'm looking for that point at which he passes from responsible review to nitpicking, or the FOI people think he's just trying to run the clock out on them. He wants to keep forcing them to do rewrites, force them to go to court because he thinks, like Sarah thinks, he's going to prevail there in the end. So it's not the best system, and he's gotten a little too big for his editing britches, I think.
I'm going to have Tim Griffin on the television program next week. I'll let him, I'll ask him if he thinks he's too big for his britches. We'll see what kind of response.
I'm sure he'll confess right away. I'll look forward to that.
Right. Lastly, on Sunday morning, late Saturday night, we get the final poll results for the Iowa caucuses, which are coming up this week. And Donald Trump with a clear, huge lead in the Iowa caucuses on the strength of evangelical voters. Tell me, what's your interpretation of how he has really gotten that particular political base, not being the most evangelical guy that I would put in that category?
I believe it's based on the scripture that the Lord works in mysterious ways, perhaps never as mysteriously as making Donald Trump the hero of evangelical fundamentalist professed Christians. He delivered. Asa Hutchinson has gone to Iowa and, with strong credentials in religious conservatism. He's talked about creating a Christian right radio station in Bentonville in his youth, and these Iowans are looking at him and saying, "So what? Donald Trump and Fox News are changing the world for us, Well, we got algorithms for that now, and we've got a man here who has delivered a Supreme Court, which has rewarded us in our view of how the Lord thinks America ought to be." That's what it's all about. He delivers. Plus, he's tough. Plus, he is the victim of the evil liberals, and the succession of prosecutions and lawsuits has begun to appear to provide confirmation of that to these folks, that he's being persecuted. And no, we're not saying that we want to live like him. We're saying we want to vote for him because he gives us the government we've long prayed for. And people think he's sent by the Lord, and that's where that is. He delivers, and it doesn't. It's less important whether he goes to church or whether he lives by example a life that might traditionally be considered Christian. He is the persecuted agent of the Lord to get America right again. That's what it is, and that's where we are. And who was second in that poll? I'm sorry, I can't remember. That's the only race.
Haley was second in the poll. DeSantis close third, but I think it was about a 4-point difference, 20-16, but almost 30 points behind Donald Trump. I think.
30. Yeah. I don't know when this will be appear online on Monday, right?
Correct.
Hours before. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how sub-zero temperatures affect the turnout and who turns out.
Yeah.
I suspect the Trump people will believe it's their responsibility to deliver him. I don't know if there'll be if that'll affect other candidates. And I'm going to look at the number of people in Iowa who participate in Monday night's caucus in sub-zero temperatures. I want to compare that to the number of people who filled Arrowhead Stadium last night in Kansas City in sub-zero temperatures. I want to see how those attendance figures match up. Should be interesting.
He is John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. You can catch him in the newspaper and online 4 days a week. Thank you for being with us, John.
And thank you, Roby. Always a pleasure.